Alrighty then, so let's get started. So I've got a pencil, I've got my sketchbook, I've got my eraser. We are going to draft out in pencil our human croquis form. This croquis that we are drawing is a person, this is a female, who is standing directly in front of us and facing us directly. Both of her legs and her feet are in the same spot. Okay, this is the easiest croquis to draw. All right, so I'm gonna get a new sheet of paper. And feel free to do this with me. And if you need to pause, then you can pause. I will give you some time, hopefully, to make the marks as we are making them together. So hopefully I don't go too fast. As I draw, this paper is straight up and down, which is hard for me to draw. I actually tend to draw with my paper angled. It's just how I work. So please make sure that you're moving your paper around on your drawing table. Please be sitting at a table. It's a lot easier to learn sitting at a table. All right, please ignore the shadow here. It is I can't get rid of it. So yes, here we go. On the top of my paper, I am going to leave about an inch or maybe inch and a half. And I'm not measuring. I'm not getting out a ruler. We are learning how to eyeball this because I don't want you to have to carry a ruler with you for the rest of your life. So I'm going to put a small little mark on the top and I'm going to come to the bottom. I'm going to go up a couple inches and I'm going to put a small little mark on the bottom. Okay. So they should be kind of lined up together. What I'm going to do is I'll give you a minute. Put your mark on the top. Put your mark on the bottom. Make sure to leave some space. Our feet are actually going to go below this line. So just keep in mind, you need some feet room down here on the bottom. That's why we're giving it some space. Okay. And maybe I want a hat or something up here. But for now, let's just make it big. Let's fill the space so we can have space to draw. So, okay. So now I want to draw a straight line from this point to this point. It should be parallel to the edge of the paper because I want this person standing straight up. Yes, you can grab a ruler. Do I want you to? No. What I want you to get used to is what we call ghosting the line. I'm going to kind of visualize this line and then I am going to draw it. Okay, so I ghosted it, I drew it. Okay, I also here, the contrast is wacky. Let's see. See how light I'm drawing? You can hardly see it. This is how light I want you drawing because most of these lines we are going to end up erasing. So as you're sketching this out, draw very lightly with your pencil, okay, for this part. I'm actually going to draw darker because I need you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to draw a darker line here. Yes, it's okay to make little sketchy lines as you go down. That's fine, but I'm going to ghost the line and then I'm going to draw the line, okay? It's okay if it has a little wave to it. It's all right. And really, as we go through this, we already established that this is not going to be the best one that we ever do. There are ways that we can fix and alter with our eraser as we go if we need to, but don't get too hung up on your final product here. This is just our trial, and we're going to keep most of these lines so that with this drawing, we're going to end up like this. And this is going to be a good pattern in our sketchbooks so that we can go back and follow along with these marks. So in this human form, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to erase the insides of this, and we're not going to put clothes on this person. We will do it again for that. Whew! So much information. I know. I'm a talker. All right. So I've got my line all the way down. Here's where eyeballing is going to come into play, and I'm going to give you tips on using your pencil to help. what we need to do first is we need to break this line in half. Okay, so top to bottom. I'm like, maybe this is half, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use my pencil as a small, it's not even a ruler, just a guide. I'm gonna be like, okay, if that's half to there, I'll hold this up here. I'm like, oh wait, actually, you know what? This is half down here. We want to make sure our proportions are correct so that this is half, right? About to there. This is half. Maybe goes up a little bit. Okay. Again, getting your proportions correct, getting these little lines on this line is important. So let's take some time with this. So what I'm doing is I broke this into half. I'm working my way up the line. So the next thing I'm going to do is in between these two marks here, I'm going to break this into half. Okay, so I'm going to kind of eyeball it and be like, oh, well, that looks about halfway. I'll use my pencil. I'm just going to grab it here. Yeah, pretty good. So then I tend to look at my fingernail because my fingers are fat. And I'm going to break that in half again. Again, I'm working up the page. I'm going to look at this section. I'm going to eyeball half of it. Kind of help measure. There we go. So I have worked up the line. I'm going to give you a chance to do this now. Work up the line. Break the whole line in half. Break the top half in half. And break the top half in half. Okay? Push pause and do that for me. Yay, you're back. Thank you so much. So we just worked up the line. Now we're going to actually work back down the line. Okay. So I went up the line, half, half, half. Now I'm going to work back down the line. And in between, like my first section, when I start going back down, halfway on that section, I'm actually going to put an X on the line. There we go. So an X on the line. Yay! Top section, I'm working my way down, X. Okay. As I come back down to this next section, because I'm working down the line, in between these two marks, I'm going to cut it off in the middle. Okay, again, I can check my measurements. I'm going to add a little line there. Okay. Here's a little trickier point. Okay. Here's my little line here. This is like my belly button. Okay. What I'm going to do is, if I think of this section here, okay, there's an X up here. This next section, I want to think about as maybe it's broken up into quarters. Okay. So I break it in half and then I break that little line in half. This is actually where my line's going to go. Same with the bottom section here. If I think about this section, if I break it in half and then in half again, like into quarters, then this is actually where my line's going to go. So my two lines around this tiny dot that I made before, I make them a little bit longer so I can see that they're different. So it's a quarter of the way up the section, and this one is a quarter of the way down the section. Okay, this will come into play later. I know it looks like a bunch of garbly goo, but stick with me. So I have those two lines. I'm going to walk my way down. This line stays. This is the middle line where we were before. And the last thing I'm going to do to draft out my figure with this line is this bottom section. I'm going to break this section in half as well. Okay. And I can go ahead and, oops. Sometimes I need to be over my drawing to be able to see. I don't know if you can see my head, but there's half. Okay. I know some of you guys are very detail oriented. oriented and you want to get out a ruler and measure all of this, please don't. Okay? We're learning how to eyeball. All right. Yay! We did that part. Woohoo! Let's take a deep breath, and I'm going to pause this video, and the next part is we are going to actually start adding some different lines to this. Yay!